Hey, gun people. It's a good case of law here. The first U.S. judge throws out cell phone Stingray evidence. The Stingray is the cell phone tower simulator that basically cops have this device in the car, and any cell phones in the area they're at, they intercept, they can listen, they can tell your location, they can get what you're texting, they can get all your information off the Stingray. So when they have this simulated tower, of course they're going to abuse it. And there were some cases where New York has been using it, and a lot of other agencies are using it. California agencies are using it. All the liberal places that are always screaming and trying to convince people on how they're great for freedoms and stuff are the ones using this the most. So, and of course the feds are using it, and it's a federal program that's probably given to the states by the feds. So this judge suppressed the evidence. For the first time, a federal judge suppressed evidence obtained without a warrant by U.S. law enforcement, by the Stingray, a surveillance device that tricks a suspect's cell phone into revealing their location. It does more than that. But anyway, this district judge in Manhattan said, hey, I'm suppressing the evidence because you didn't get a warrant. I like this. As a cop, if I was chasing this guy, I'd be pissed. But for freedoms and for the country and for the courts to have oversight and to restrict government abuse of power, I like this ruling. Cops should have to get a warrant. A lot of people hate to get a warrant. I did a whole bunch of warrants. They became pretty easy. Like I said, 90, 95%, maybe even 98% of cops never do a warrant in their whole career because they're kind of a pain in the butt and they take a long time. And unless it's worth it, most people aren't going to do it. But the problem with this is the judge suppressed the evidence that they got, but will that change anything? It sounds good, but remember, it's against the law for me to enter a house and arrest you unless I have a warrant, consent, or exigency. So without exigency or warrant or consent, I can't go in a house. Even though I know you have a warrant and I know you're in there, I can't arrest you unless I go get a warrant. And it's called a stagel warrant, but it's basically a search warrant for your body. I need to get a search warrant to seize your body in a third party's house. So now they suppressed the location, and the DEA found his location using this Stingray. I have a feeling they found a whole bunch more. And when he suppressed the evidence by the Stingray, that means the case got weaker. That means the prosecution says, shit, I had this great case where I could have got an easy conviction. And now if I'm not allowed to use any of this that I got from the Stingray and that was the meat of my case, I might have to drop the charges. So that would be a good thing. But if he just suppressed that they found his location with the Stingray and then they arrested him, they're not going to let the guy go. There's no penalty for them catching a guy that needs to be in jail the wrong way. Just as if you're in a house and I don't go get a warrant. If I go in your house illegally without exigency, a warrant, and I arrest you and there's a warrant and I get you in jail and it's a good warrant or it's a good reason to arrest you, they are not going to let you go. They'll suppress the evidence I found. They may suppress something that I found on you, but they will not let you go because I seized your body illegally. So, is this a big spanking? Maybe not. Is it a good case law? Absolutely. Again, anytime the government rules against police overreach and requires more from the government to impede in the citizen's life, that's a good thing. And so I like this ruling. I think it's good. Unfortunately, the liberals will either hate it or blame the Republicans or say George Bush caused it, whatever. The liberals will always try to spin it. The ACLU's on this, so maybe the liberals will be quiet. Every once in a while, I agree with the ACLU. There's a lot of cops that if you agree with the ACLU on anything, you're a communist piece of shit. And a lot of people didn't like it when, I spoke good of the ACLU when they did something good. Most of the time, they're just a hate race bullshit group that doesn't do anything but stir up bullshit and try to call everybody a racist. And they mainly promote black people. But, that's why most people don't like them. They're not fair. They're not non-biased. They're very skewed toward their own agenda. However, every once in a while, they get something right. And on this, they've been fighting the use of the Stingray. I agree with it. There's going to be some people that say, you know what, if we need to catch criminals and we need to catch terrorists, if we can use a Stingray, then cops should be able to use it. That is a huge flaw in people's thinking when you give government unchecked power. They need to have to get a warrant. A warrant isn't that difficult. It basically makes a judge that's not personally involved, that's not on the street chasing this guy, that's not getting beat by the suspect, that the suspect hasn't, gotten away a few times. They're like, damn it. It takes a non-biased review of the facts that the officer gives them. And if the facts are reasonable, the judge gives a warrant. Remember, getting a warrant isn't that difficult. Everyone want to make it things like, oh, you have to have all this proof. And it's basically a fair probability that I'm going to find something. It's a very low standard to get a warrant. Extremely low. Almost too low in my book. It's so damn easy to get a warrant, I can pretty much get a warrant for just about anything. It's just most people don't want to take the time, and it's not worth it to go through it, so they take shortcuts and they take the easy way, or they try to exert exigency, or I had to do it because I didn't have time. And again, there are legitimate exigency. If a child is in danger, a person's in danger, and you don't have time, and getting a warrant would give you unnecessarily delay and put people at risk or someone's lives at risk, then you don't need to go get a warrant. So there's things in there that you can do that, but I mean, of course, in the DEA will probably be trying to play, well, this guy's selling drugs, and if we didn't go arrest him now, he might have sold a drug to a kid, and that kid could have died. Therefore, we have an exigency that a kid was in danger because he had drugs. And again, that's overreach. That's lawyer tricks. Cops learn it. DAs will advise cops how to say that and what to say in order to get around the law. I think it's bullshit. It should be legitimate. We ought to be above better than the crooked crooks and the crooked lawyers. But, a lot of cops will fall into that because they don't know any better, and they're taking advice from their boss, who is the DA, the Attorney General. The FBI takes advice from the U.S. Attorney. So it always comes from the lawyers when you see all these tricks and stuff. But anyway, I think this is a good case law. I'm glad about it. Tough luck if you have to lose a case. Any more government oversight when cops are out there using things to impede on the public is a good thing in my book. And I know I'm going to get hate from cops on that, but whatever. Good cops won't have a problem with it, but they'll be the cops that want to take the shortcut, easy way, and look at things that, this is just going to make my job harder. Now I'm going to have to let people go because I'm not going to be able to get a warrant, so I'm just going to have to let them go, and people are going to die, and public safety is going to be at risk, and that's how they always justify government overreach. It's never a good thing to give government more power, period. All right, we'll end that there.